literacy proficiency is up, so more students are at grade level in reading, more students are at grade level on math. We've reduced our chronic absenteeism by about 7 percentage points. We started with 275 vacancies 2 years ago. We're down to 120. We've hired over 70 music and art teachers. So I think in a lot of those areas we're starting to see improvement. We have to wait till the state results are released based on
Right.
MSTEP. But all of our data is indicating that we're going to have a year of improvement after implementing a lot of that second full year of reform.
Talk a little bit about chronic absenteeism and the problem that it is with the district, which is a much higher average than it is in the state,
Right.
and some of the different ways that you've been combating that.
Well, this year we funded an attendance agent at every school. So this individual, we created clear dashboards to know what students are on the verge of being chronically absent. And this attendance agent is empowered to do home visits. So they go directly to the home, ask questions about why the child is missing school. We'll even take students back to school with them. And so we've seen some schools improve their attendance by 30 percentage points because of this attendance agent. And then with the data tracking system, we're just better to know who's absent and who's not absent. In addition to that, we've funded a dean of discipline at every school. So this dean is working with students that are often showing the greatest behavioral issues. So we're creating more one-on-one relationships between the student and this dean and the parents.
Not as many expulsions or suspensions.
And that's right. And that's the other thing that's contributing to improving attendance is a reduction in out-of-school suspensions, where we still have consequences for behavior, but more in-school suspension rather than out-of-school suspension. So that's helping our attendance as well.
A couple things that people are really looking at is the facilities. Obviously, you've got
Right.
poor conditions
Yeah.
at a significant percentage of buildings. How many would you say?
We have 100 school buildings, and the quality of those buildings vary. Some were built over the last 10 years, some are 100 years old.
Right.
So we did a facility review so we could have a third-party analysis of what the problem was. That third-party analysis indicated that right now we're looking at 500 million that would be needed to bring all those schools to 2020 educational facility standards, and that increases to 1.4 billion with deferred maintenance over the next 4 years. So we're starting to engage the business community. DTE has stepped forward to say they want to be a part of that solution. GM, Quicken are stepping forward. So the next step for us is to engage a larger community by feeder pattern so the community knows what the challenges are, and we can have real conversations about, in some areas, downsizing, in some areas, replacing 3 schools maybe with a brand new school. So that number will be revised, and then from that point, we have to have our debt secured beyond what it's able to be secured at this point, and possibly looking at a bond. But this would be a way to address the needs over the long term, no longer looking at this as a quick fix type of solution, and instead to create a holistic solution to a set of schools that children deserve.
You're talking engaging the business community and being able to help out there too. What about legislators in terms of maybe changing the formula
Right.
of how you're able to get funds to deal with your facilities?
Yeah, it's a great point. On the one hand, the debt that was restructured isn't even addressing the solution in any way, because our budget doesn't generate any dollars specifically for facilities. The greatest root cause of this is the fact that other school districts generate more wealth or revenue because of property taxes. And so, for instance, Farmington, Southfield, and Grosse Pointe generate $130 million more per year than Detroit does. So they use those funds for higher teacher salaries and better facilities. So if we're ever going to get a point to creating equity across the state, we have to deal with the inequity that is occurring because of local property taxes.